94 Feet Nation, welcome back. Welcome back. What's good, everybody? 94 Feet Podcast in the building. Crazy NBA offseason. What's good? It's your boy Dre, sitting alongside my brother Zeke. What's going on, my man?
Yeah, what up?
How you doing, brother?
I'm doing all right.
Sitting alongside my other brother Keith. What's going on, my brother?
What's going on, good people?
Man, I swear, it seems like in the midst of our brotherhood, I only see y'all on podcast Sundays. What's up with that?
That's
man?
On purpose.
Oh, really? Really?
Come on, man.
Really?
I'd love
Mr.
to see
Come
you
help
guys.
me. Mr. Come help me move, and it's
First of all,
you
man,
and I.
First of all, you putting my personal business out there.
Oh man, shut up, man.
That's first of all. Second of all, if you're gonna put it out there, how about Mr. Hey man, I'm here from here to here. Okay. After that, I gotta go. Okay, so I can do only half the job.
Wait, I
And
gave
then
you
you-
3 hours.
And then your other friend. Hold on a second.
It can't
And then
be
your other
considered a
friend.
job if you ain't
Hold
getting
on.
paid.
Then your other friend. Don't you say nothing.
Don't you say nothing.
Me?
Yeah, you didn't even
You know
show
you're
up.
supposed to be on my side.
Didn't show up.
You worked me until my hands started crimping up like I had
Oh
all
man.
type of bone diseases.
But you were paid.
Very minimum.
But shut up, man. I paid you well, man. But no, Zeke. What about him not showing up?
He didn't show up.
Oh, yeah.
He didn't show up. Kesey could not be found. So, it is what it is.
Like I told you before, when you originally asked me, you said, on a Saturday morning, can you help me move? And I told you what?
You on your own?
Nope, that's not what I told you.
What'd you say?
You was on your own, but
You on your own? Let's just cut through. Let's just cut through the tap dance and get straight to you on your own.
but what I told you is
You busy, family
I
stuff.
got 4 kids.
All right, I get it.
on Saturday mornings.
That's cool.
Yes, what?
I'm just kidding.
Wildin'. No, I understand, man, and I appreciate everybody who helped me move. You know what I'm saying? If you couldn't do it, you couldn't do it. Even though I helped you move.
So
So,
basically-
it's cool. Don't worry. Hey, man.
so
Hey, my brother. I get it.
Neither of you helped me.
So
but
basically, I would be paying to help him move because I would have to pay somebody to watch 4 kids.
I don't understand. It takes a village. So, brother, you ain't in this by yourself. It takes a village.
Well, it's good to see y'all, my brothers. Always a pleasure to be in the same room. So this is an off-season special. So this is not the kickoff of season 2. Season 2 will kick off officially in October. But it has been a interesting off-season to say the least. So we're looking at NBA draft. We're looking at free agency. We're talking about a couple specials that have come on. So this might be a nice little extended podcast depending on how much we want to go into. So if you're watching us on Facebook Live, thanks for tuning in. If you're listening to this on your favorite podcast network, be sure to subscribe. Like, subscribe, and comment. Help us reach more listeners as, this is for y'all. So NBA Podcast, 94 Feet Special Edition, free agency and draft. So the NBA draft has taken place. The top picks are in. Summer League is just about over. If it's not over.
It is. It's over. It's been over for a while. Go ahead.
So, we're talking about the NBA draft. Was there anything exciting about the draft for you all? I wasn't excited, not going to lie. There was nothing about the draft that made me want to say, oh, change maker. Oh, good pickup. I don't think I said good pickup at all during the first round of the draft. So, go ahead.
I think the players that come in now, I don't know. They just don't make you excited about the draft like they used to because the talent has – I'm not going to say they're not talented, but the level of talent has changed.
I think that because, this draft class especially, and a little bit of last year's draft class, with COVID – doing what it's doing as far as like shutting down certain things. College basketball was one of those things where it wasn't something to really watch. And a lot of these guys who got the shine or usually get the shine during the season or even sometimes in the NCAA tournament, unless you're a vigorous college basketball fan, you're not really like catching these games like you usually do because they weren't being broadcast as they usually were. You can even with the other, it was a couple guys that went from the G League to getting drafted. So it's just like it was the whole point of being visual.
It was like untraditional.
It was untraditional, but it was also just not being visual of these certain guys, like the top three picks. And so if you didn't make it to, I'll say, the Sweet 16, a lot of people didn't really see you or see you in action. Unless you're a scout, unless you're, like I said before, a very good college basketball fan, like you really had to go out your way to find these guys. And so, like you said before, Keezy, I don't think that the hype around these players isn't there because one of the things is because of COVID and because we're not seeing these guys every Saturday morning like we're usually seeing. And so it was a very interesting draft. I don't think it was one of those things where you can say, like Andres, I don't think it was one of the things where it's like I wasn't excited, but I did know who the guys were, and that's all you can really know is like, oh, I know who that is. I've seen him do this and this and this and so on and so forth. So, you know, it's just one of the things where it was just an unusual year because of COVID.
So the top 10 draft picks, obviously the Pistons got the number 1 pick in the draft, and they picked Cade Cunningham, who had pretty good college numbers. He had actually great college numbers. If you look at it, he averaged in college 20.1 points per game. He looks like he was a one and doneer. 3.5 assists, 6.2 rebounds, and he shot 43% from the field goal, 85% from the free throw line. So, I mean, he played for Oklahoma State, so it doesn't sound like a terrible pickup for the Pistons. I mean, he's 6'8". He's not extremely, I don't know if that's considered tall for the NBA.
For his position.
You know, for the position that he's playing. But at the end of the day, it sounds like the Pistons got a, you know, I'm not going to say a young superstar, but they got a player that can help them impact right away. So what do we think about Cade Cunningham going number 1?
Is that what you think he can do? You think he can come in and help Detroit right away? Have you seen Detroit's roster?
I think he can come in and be of help to Detroit. I'm not saying that Cade Cunningham is a game-changing player, but I think he can come and help Detroit right out the gate. I do.
What do you think he can come in and help do?
Well, scoring, number 1.
So you think he can score?
I think he'll bring some scoring abilities to the Pistons.
What is the last game you seen Cade Cunningham score?
When he played for Oklahoma State.
Did you see him play?
I mean, we watched the games, but it wasn't like, hey, here's the biggest Cade Cunningham fan. Obviously, we don't know what players can do in the NBA till they get there. I admittedly did not watch much of Summer League because the games came on at really awkward times. So I didn't watch much, so I don't know even how Summer League played out. But as a number 1 pick, do we like it, or is there someone else you would have taken over Cade Cunningham?
I kind of like Jalen Suggs. I think maybe he should have went number 1.
And he went 5.
I think he is going to be the sleeper of the draft because everybody is like, I don't know. They started out on his bandwagon, but for some reason they kind of switched it up and went to Cade Cunningham. I don't know how that happened.
Well, think about it before you go there. He only averaged 14 points, 5 rebounds, 1 steal, and 4 assists.
But he was on a team full of good players, though.
Well,
That team was pretty good. Gonzaga was really good.
They usually are.
Gonzaga was a really good team.
They usually are.
Gonzaga was a really good team. A lot of these guys. It's interesting because you're talking about Cade Cunningham. Cade Cunningham is he has the body. He has the productivity of I don't want to say superstar. Superstar is a reach, but to be productive on this team. Will he change this franchise around? I wouldn't say that. But as we're talking about this draft class, for him to be 6'8", 220 to play a shooting guard / point guard is something to be seen. Mm-hmm. He has a 7-foot wingspan. He can shoot the ball. He can shoot it inside. He can shoot it outside. You know, he can pass the ball. He's good on the defensive end. Not a great defender, but he's good on the defensive end. A lot of college players aren't that good on the defensive end. So it's just one of those things where like I don't say he had to go number 1. But him being top 3 is in there. I mean, you talk about Snugs, that guy you said. he was on a pretty good team, but he wasn't the best player on that team.
Yeah, he
And
was.
and hold, the best player on Gonzaga?
He wasn't the best player on that
No.
team.
Have you watched the Gonzaga games?
I have watched the Gonzaga.
He is the
Gonzaga
person who
game.
changes the tempo of the game, though.
So-
Because he's a point guard. That's kind of like saying he was the D Wade of Miami. He wasn't the best player, but he was the guy who pushed the tempo.
Are we really going to go there?
So
I'm just saying like he wasn't the best player.
I'm going to back you up a little bit though, because you're talking about Suggs, who averaged 14.4 points a game. There's a lot of players in the draft that average low-level points like that, low-level stat lines.
That
Wait a
was
second.
because of COVID, though.
Well,
We can't blame COVID for everything because all these teams that were drafted had a full season. They had an NCAA tournament. They had a full season to play.
But at the same time, there were players out. There were players who were battling COVID. All of that.
I get that. I get that. But to bump him above, so you're basically bumping him above number 2. The Rockets drafted Jalen Green. The Cavaliers drafted Evan Mobley. The Raptors at number 4 drafted Scotty Barnes. The Magic, who we're talking about, Jalen Suggs. The Thunder drafted Josh Giddey. The Warriors at 7, Jonathan Kuminga. And the Magic, again, with the number 8 pick, drafted Franz Wagner. The Kings drafted Davion Mitchell. And the Pelicans drafted Zaire Williams, who was officially traded to the Grizzlies. So of those top 10 players, you had Suggs beating out Jalen Green, whose stats in college, they say Jalen Green's 6'6", which is really small. It's kind of small by NBA standards.
that's average.
What is he?
6'6", with a 6'7" wingspan.
He didn't go to college.
Allegedly a good shooting guard, right? But he
He didn't go to college.
Didn't go to college, but he only averaged, what does it say here, 1.38 points per transition possession. He does a lot of damage dribbling. We're just reading his overview. I don't really see how he went as high as he did, unless there's some things I didn't see in the G League. Maybe he was a G League All-Star.
Nobody here watches G League games.
No,
But
that's what I'm saying.
But Jalen Green.
I watched a few of the G League games. Our hometown kid stood out in the G League games as well too.
I mean, who?
Jalen Johnson.
Oh, Jalen Green is probably the most dynamic player in this draft.
Really?
Him going number 2 was pretty on schematics, on measurements, and the way Jalen Green is a guy who can get the ball to the basket. He's a great shooter, and he's been before they really had a time to evaluate other players. He was predicted to go number 1.
Really?
To me, I'm not the biggest fan of a player skipping college and going straight to like the G League and stuff like that. But in Jalen Green's situation, I was able to kind of look. I don't say able to. I was forced to look past it, and I was able to evaluate his game. Just not even on because I'm not a scout or anything, but just from what I've seen, the guy can. Like I said before, he can shoot the ball. He has a nice handle. And then his jumping ability, his athletic ability is just kind of like off the meters. Is he the next? It's hard to say. I'm not gonna say LeBron. It's hard to say what he's gonna be the next of. But what I'm saying is that and as far as this draft class go, he could have easily went number 1.
And his numbers in the G League were 17.9 per game, 4 rebounds a game, 2 assists per game. So, I mean, again, average numbers. That's not higher than Suggs, but you believe he could potentially be the best player in this draft class, is what I'm hearing Zeke say.
I'm just saying that.
So you saying Jalen Green was the best player in this class?
I'm saying he was predicted before they had time to evaluate other basketball players and other college guys because you don't know who's coming out until like later on. I'm saying he was predicted when he left when he graduated from high school and decided to go to G League. He was big news because he was that good and he was projected to go number 1.
What is with like they always go at since Kyrie. I don't think they've drafted a small player. They picked up Evan Mobley.
You said since who?
Since Kyrie, I don't think they've drafted.
They have
Sexton?
Sexton.
Oh, Sexton. You can't forget about him. That's pretty good.
But
That's pretty good.
It was a good pickup for Cleveland.
it was
It was a
in
good pickup for Cleveland because they had nobody.
it was a good draft pick for what they had available.
I mean, that draft class wasn't memorable, kind of like this one.
I don't want
My thing is, what does Cleveland need?
to.
lot.
Cleveland needs
Like,
lot.
like you go after a
besides
7-footer. Like,
So again,
what was the point of going after 7-footer? Didn't they just sign Jared Allen?
they did.
they did, and so here's his stats.
By the way,
Right, right.
no, I was finna say y'all was wrong about Jared Allen.
Well,
and
he
why-
got overpaid, and we're gonna talk about that in the podcast.
He got what?
later. Overpaid. So, 16.4 points, 8.7 rebounds, 2.4 assists per game. He shoots about 57%, which is not terrible for a big man. And
But that's college, though.
and he shoots 70% free throws. Yeah, but that's all we have to judge him on. It's college. He was another one and done player. He played 1 year for USC, and Cleveland took him with the 3rd pick. Now, I don't want to say this has Anthony Bennett written all over it, but if you paid Jared Allen and you still picked up a center, help me understand the dynamic there.
You gotta have a bench.
Yeah, but if you're Cleveland,
look how much-
aren't you trying to win now?
Look how
And-
much money you
no.
gave him.
Who?
Jared Allen? Let's wait till later on in the podcast when we're talking about players getting
Jared,
paid.
let's say they gave Jared Allen $100 million just for argument's sake. Number one, he earned it. Number two,
Earned what?
What?
Jared who?
Jared who? Okay. What
Speaking of Jared
hold on a second. Who was y'all boy? Andre Drummond? Yeah, okay. So anyway,
what? Hold up.
y'all boy is Andre Drummond.
Hold
That's
up.
who y'all was
Can I-
screaming.
let me just say this.
Go ahead.
I was listening to some of our older podcasts, and some of them are pretty hilarious. So I'm going to talk to Tone about making the best of 94 feet,
Mm-hmm.
and the amount of times he said somebody who is ridiculous. He was like, something who? I mean, I'm like, what?
And
You
he
know his name.
ended up eating his words.
Yeah, I think we all ended up eating our words. If you go back and listen to
About what?
Listen, I was listening, coming into church this morning, I was listening to an episode called Free Agency Marketplace, and you was all on Drummond
About what?
about being the best player of the free agency. I'm telling you, you need to go back and listen to how
I never said Andre Drummond was the best player. Was he the best player in that free agency?
Tape don't lie. Go back and listen to yourself.
No, hold on a
You
second,
both
no.
will find how much of flip-flopping you
Flip flopping. Now, we had Andre Drummond versus Jared Allen. What did I say?
What did I flip flop on?
You flip-flop on a lot. Okay, you all have to remember, people, we started podcasting in January. And wait a second.
All
When
right.
you go back and listen to those February,
Exactly.
So I would like to see his flip flopping.
when you go back to those February and March episodes, you will hear how hard we all were on the Bucks. In fact, on the episode, I think it's called the James Harden Saga or something it's called, you question Giannis' ability as a leader.
I question Giannis' ability as a leader.
Freaky Zeke Moore. Yes, you did.
I don't.
Hold on.
I don't
you ever
believe.
call him that again on this
Thank
podcast?
you.
His name is, that's his name.
I am Freak Zeke,
That's his
but
name.
But don't call him that on this podcast.
Okay,
Say that for another episode.
Zeke.
Thank you.
If you listen to what Zeke had to say, and you listen to what you have to say, all I'm saying, America, is
What about you?
I just admit it. I didn't flip flop a lot. I was hard on the Bucks. Oh wow! When I listen, I'm like, dang man, we was going after Holiday. We were going after Chris Middleton, and 10
Well,
episodes
you know
later,
what?
we were singing
I
their
don't think I was
praises.
that hard on Holiday, but I
Man,
know I
you
was
were.
hard on Middleton.
You were hard. Listen,
I
y'all.
was on Middleton.
I-
I was on him like white on rice.
I'm gonna talk to our producer. I was literally listening to our old episodes and writing down funny moments between the three of us and moments that we were wrong, just so he can compile an episode for us that just like a look back. It's pretty freaking hilarious. So back to you riding Jared Allen as to why
I picked Jared Allen over Andre Drummond, and y'all like I lost my mind. I hope you remember that.
But
anyway,
you're saying Jared Allen is going to get the nod over.
What I'm saying is when you already have a center, you draft another center, even if it's a high draft pick. That doesn't mean he's going to start. That doesn't mean he's going to pan out. So it's one of those things where when I first heard about him getting drafted to Cleveland, I didn't really care because Cleveland those first picks, no matter who it is, it's not one of those things where these guys are going to need time. These guys are going to need time. A majority of this class was freshmen to get one and done guys, and it wasn't one of those things where they were coming from big time programs. Like they weren't coming from Duke and they weren't coming from Kentucky when Kentucky had a tremendous starting five and stuff like that. They were just kind of getting picked out from this guy went to USC and Jared Allen went.
USC has put some good players out of USC.
When the last time you heard of it?
They're not a basketball powerhouse. They're okay.
Duke did. Jalen Johnson.
Duke is a basketball powerhouse.
Jalen Johnson got drafted out of there.
And Duke is a basketball powerhouse.
And he went 20. That probably is the
Yeah, but Duke didn't even participate in the tournament though. Right? Duke didn't participate. Did I make that up?
No. COVID.
COVID and Kentucky, right? They didn't.
I don't know if it's Kentucky. It was one of them teams though.
Did not participate in the tournament.
But like I said before, this has been just one of those strange years. But what I'm saying is, these guys aren't coming from like powerhouse basketball programs.
Mm-hmm.
So when they drafted him, I was kind of thrown off by that. But I think that the thing about Cleveland is, and think about a lot of these guys, they just need time. It's one of those things. It's one of those things.
We got an issue in the studio.
It's one of those things where
that fly can fly out.
it's one of those.
Only one.
I know, but once it's one, you just feel like it's.
But I think the
10.
fan is kind of like blowing him into you a little bit. 'Cause
Probably.
he flew right into your neck like a bullet.
But anyways, but about this guy is good. He's a Jared Allen kind of player, to be honest with you. He's good on the defensive end. He's got great athletic ability. As far as scoring wise, he's not like it's a center in college, so it's not like he's shooting from range.
Sure.
But like you said before, he's 50%. He's over 50% from the field, which is pretty good. Yeah. So I mean, he's one of those guys you kind of plug in. We'll see what happens. Yep. I think a lot of these guys are those kind of players. We're looking at this draft. It just made me think about other draft classes and how dominant people were in college basketball, where they had the whole world talking about them. When you think about like guys like Carmelo Anthony, when you think about guys like Allen Iverson, or you think about guys like I'm trying to think like Tim Duncan or Chris Paul, it's just like guys like that where the dominance was so I don't want to say authentic, but it was just so undeniable that these guys were going to be superstars in this league. And so the draft class, like you were saying before, this draft class and probably the last three.
Probably one of the weakest.
I don't want to say the weakest. It's hard to say that because we don't see that great. They don't see that dominance that we've seen in the past, where the whole world was talking about you.
That's fair.
The last person was Zion, and he
his
wasn't
whole
to
class
me.
Wasn't like aggressively watched.
LaMelo was, wasn't he?
But he didn't go to college. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
You said draft class. You didn't say college.
Okay, well, you're right about that. What I'm saying is this though. Even LaMelo, it was a lot of questions.
Okay.
And I think the last time when we talk about draft classes, we talk about maybe like the 2003, the 2002 draft class, where you guys like, oh, these guys are going to be superstars in this NBA. These guys are going to be superstars in this NBA. I haven't had that feeling about a draft class in quite a while. And I don't know when we'll have that draft. I mean, it might be the different times.
I agree. And this pandemic has really made us struggle with this draft class because we wasn't able to watch them like we wanted to. Even though we wasn't doing a whole lot during this pandemic, we still wasn't able to.
We didn't have basketball either, though.
Yeah.
Remember, we just had basketball again this year.
Totally. I get it.
So.
But
go ahead.
at the end of the day, I just don't see anybody's talent in this draft class that stands out to me. Superstar.
Agreed. And Zeke and I were talking briefly over the weekend because I had part of it. Well, let's predict rookie of the year. And he's like, we probably can't do that yet because we don't know enough about these players. So we have a whole season to look at them and watch them play. So while Zeke and Keith look at, we're going to ask another question, top 3 disappointments of the past 10 years of the NBA draft. We're going to look at the top 3 players who were disappointments. There's a link. We're just going to play a clip from a previous episode while we check that out. So listen in.
You better trust the process.
I trust the process, but I'm gonna tell you like this: when Embiid comes back, the Bucks have no answers for him.
I'm not gonna lie, we do kind of struggle in that center area. My last question for you two guys is, with this win, even though they were out without Embiid, because they may be without Embiid for a while, it was still a win.
Mm-hmm.
Are you encouraged by this win going forward? Because like I said before, they won their last 9 out of 10, and they're on a pretty good roll. Giannis is putting up MVP numbers again. They seem to be sparking at a very good time in the season. So, how encouraged are you going forward?
I'm a little bit more of a believer than I was about 3 or 4 weeks ago. I should say. I ain't that much of a more believer, but just a little bit more.
You see that?
DiVincenzo has been playing.
See what?
A lot better basketball than I expected him to be.
He was
a believer.
Yeah.
Terrible fourth quarter play. I'm just saying.
He did have a terrible fourth
Almost
quarter
cost
play.
us the game.
But look at
You
his,
going
look
hard
at his
the
stat
Bucks.
line throughout the whole game.
So we're going to play some clips throughout the show. I'm not sure how that sounds on you all's end. You all can tell us in the chats. But let's just say we come a long way from episode 1.
Time out.
I'm just saying.
Time out.
Oh, I still got your clip. I'm just saving it for a little later.
I'm sure you are.
So
Keith, hold on.
hold
I
on.
got you, Keith. I got you.
You got what?
Kesey, along with being critical of the Bucks, which is your right, he
Wait.
still was a believer.
It was his right, but for me, I'm not a fan. When I'm critical,
You were going hard on the Bucks, like I ain't gonna make it. They ain't got nothing coming. When you said when Embiid come back, they ain't got nothing for him. I said we have a problem at center, but we're still good.
you didn't say we're good.
And I asked the question.
That is what he said.
And
I
asked
heard
the
it.
question. I said, hey,
You the ones-
Do you think we can still beat this team? Oh, I'm not that encouraged. Kesey was like, I'm a little concerned, but I'm still encouraged. I said, okay, all right, I'm encouraged.
You the
too.
one who said we
You
have
the
no
one.
answer for Joel Embiid. We didn't even have to even play him. So I don't even understand why that's a discussion. He didn't even make it to us.
Exactly. They got a whole bunch of internal issues before they get to the Bucks.
Oh, y'all stupid. All right. In talking about the rookie class, and Zeke made a great point about this. You know, when you think about the past rookie seasons or rookie or the NBA drafts, there really hasn't been a full-blown impressive one since LeBron and company.
That's
17 years ago.
That's pretty harsh, but I'll let it.
I said a full draft class. That whole draft class, the first 15 picks was impressive. So the question is, we're not going to call it bust because, the word bust now, Kwame Brown have people scared to use that word now. Shannon Sharp was backpedaling, bang, quick.
Bust.
Yes. Top 3 bust or disappointments in the NBA draft of the past 10 years. Who you got, Keith?
You said
Top 3. It doesn't matter who.
Just
but
name
within
somebody.
name
Top 3 is
3
kinda-
players that did not live up to the hype.
over the last 10 years.
And I have 3 quick ones. Anthony Bennett, Jahlil Okafor, and I am going to actually go with, for top 10 of the past, let's see here. Okafor, his hype fell off quick. And part of that was because he never wanted to go to Philly.
Who?
Okafor. Do you remember
Oh.
when he dropped his jersey in the chair on media day? He was not having it. And then I'm going to give you another one. I'm going to give you Michael Kidd Gilchrist from Charlotte. Another Michael Jordan draft pick. So those are my three. It just didn't live up to the hype.
Go ahead, Keith.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say those are three pretty good guys. They were pretty high in the draft, and they didn't just pan out. I got one who was called. I'm sorry, his name. I'm gonna mess his name up. Jimmer Federich.
Jimmer Fredette.
Yeah, Jimmer Fredette. He is, to me, probably one of the biggest disappointments in the NBA draft.
I don't even remember his name, bro.
I remember him because I didn't know who he was, but I remember because he went to BYU, and I think he was leading the NCAA in scoring, and he could drop buckets like nobody's business from 3-point range. He was a little short for his position, but he still was able to just get buckets. And I think they was calling him Jimmy Buckets. And, it's interesting because he got drafted by the Bucks, but he got traded to Sacramento. And during the course of his career, he's only averaged like 6 points a game.
Right.
And he's been back and forth. He's went to the G League. I think just recently he had like 50. Like maybe like a year or something ago, and then he dropped like 60 in China one time. So it's one of the things where, like, just talking about the overall draft is that, they all aren't winners. So it's one of those things where, like, something like that is very curious to me because you could obviously shoot the lights out, but when it comes to the NBA, it's just a whole different thing. I don't know what it is.
I agree. Jimmer is one of mine too. Like they had him so hyped up because this man was like pulling from deep coming in.
And I mean,
no, it was like
close.
Who they compared him to was more of JJ Redick.
JJ, okay, yeah.
So I kept saying, like, man, he ain't no JJ, and everybody was like, man, he gonna be better than JJ. Man, and I watched the college game. I'm like, oh, he can shoot, but I'm like, he's not big enough. I don't think it's gonna work in the league. And I kept on saying that, and sure enough, he got to the league. Even though he can shoot, he just wasn't big enough, quick enough, or elite enough to compete at that level.
And is that the funny thing to me about the curious side about his situation is he's just a shooter. So it's not like he had to go to the rim or, and like, it's not like he lost. It's like, I feel like he entered the NBA gym and lost his touch and he was never able to find it. And I just find it funny because, like, you're in college averaging over 25 points a game or like 25 points a game. Like, and I think he stayed all 4 years. His father was the coach, and that really didn't have anything to do with it. It probably helped. But for him to just be like, just lose his touch is so interesting.
Because it's a different type of game. Everybody is just as strong as you. Everybody is just as tall as you. Everybody can shoot just as good as you. And everybody can do the same things you can do, but some of them got bigger size. So, and some of them are two-way players. They can defend at the same time.
So let me ask you.
Jimmer couldn't guard nobody.
Because he was short. But my question for you, I don't know. It's just one of them things where like Steph Curry, for instance, he's a shooter. And he was short. He was short for his, Steph Curry. When he first got into the league, short guy, he can shoot, but he's not very athletic.
Steph or Steph?
Steph.
Like Steph Curry.
Stephen Wardell Curry.
You
like
know
Golden State Warriors Curry.
Name?
His
Yeah.
real name is Wardell. Steph is actually his middle name.
Jesus Christ.
But that's social media, man. Get off that.
I'm just, I don't.
So
do you know his name?
My thing is,
Okay.
Steph is how big?
6'3".
Is that
How
it?
tall? He's about 6'3", 6'4".
No,
You got
6'3", 6'2".
6'3", 6'4".
Go ahead and check it. Go ahead. What are you saying?
How tall is Jimmer?
Jimmy was about 6 foot.
5'11" on a good day.
Shit, Steph Curry.
He stood no
6'3".
chance.
Steph Curry was 6'3".
He's a solid 6'3".
6'3".
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like 6'4", 6'3", 6'2". Like Steph was not when he first got into the league. when he first got into the league, because I remember I didn't know who he was until the NCAA tournament, and I remember him going crazy, like, who is this guy? Who is this guy? Steph Curry. And then everybody started talking about, because that's when you make your mark, is in the tournament. And so for him to go crazy like that, but it was like, oh, but it's cool. But when he gets to the league, he's still young. I mean, not still. He's short. He's unathletic, and so on and so forth. So I find it curious when you have these guys who can obviously play ball, and then they get to the NBA and just something happens where you don't add up. Now you're right. It is one of those things where these guys they're faster, they're stronger, and they've been here longer. So, you come into the league like Greg Odom.
Ooh.
You get soft. You can just tell you soft.
I think he was injury prone.
Injury prone too.
His biggest problem was being able to stay healthy.
That was his big. But what I'm saying
I think
is,
when he was healthy, he could. If he was healthy, he could have stayed in the league.
Probably, but what I'm saying it was even with that being said, it was never a situation where he was coming in like Shaq on some strong arming the ball, so on and so forth.
I'm laughing because I remember the people were so hard on Greg Oden when he joined the Miami Heat and was dancing with the trophy. They were like, put the trophy down before you hurt yourself, because he was literally getting hurt every time you looked at him. People were really hard on Odom. And to Zeke's point, man, height in the NBA does matter. I mean, 5'11", and you're playing that guard position, who you going to hold? Who you going to lock down? So who else y'all got on your list?
But also, when you're that small, you got to be able to be a walking bucket. Like, you got to be able to get a bucket. They say go get a bucket, you go get a bucket. And a lot of players that small can't do that. On a consistent basis, I should say.
That's true.
Zeke, who else you got?
I mean, I think you've said them all pretty much.
For the past 10 years. There's been some bad ones, but the last 10 years.
Past 10 years, I think you just said the most notable ones. Those guys are probably the most noticeable ones as far as like
Do y'all remember?
bust.
Do y'all remember Johnny Flynn?
Johnny who?
Flynn.
I don't even mean to say it like that, but Johnny who?
Johnny Flynn.
I remember Johnny Flynn because he played for Marquette, right?
No.
Who he played for?
I don't know about Marquette, but
Johnny Flynn was from, was it?
I don't know who he played for, but
I don't even remember his name.
I remember him.
He went over Steph Curry. That's the reason I brought it up. In
Really?
The draft.
Okay,
I
so
mean, Darko went over Carmelo.
who?
He's another bust.
Darko, but it's been
Mel-
more than 10 years, but he's definitely
but he's still a bust.
Darko Malachek? He went over Melo, right? He went
Probably.
to Detroit.
I
So,
think so.
Anyway,
I just remember him playing for Minnesota. That's how I know who Johnny Flynn is.
congratulations.
He's from Syracuse. That's what it was.
Congratulations to the entire draft class of 2021. We hope you have a great NBA career. Save your money, budget wisely, and get ready for some hazing. So,
Save their money.
I mean,
Budget wisely.
He pretty much letting y'all know.
They
hey,
gotta get a
guys,
rollie.
gotta get a big house.
Hey,
They
this
gotta get a Benz or a Beamer.
This is 2021. If you think they ain't already got that stuff in somebody else's name,
Then you a fool too.
Moving on, the free agency and trade movement. Now, we are not going to talk about all of it because it would be way too much, but we are going to talk about some notable things. All right. I think let's start here. I want to make sure that it all links together. Can we talk about the new poster child of overestimating their value?
Oh, I know who you talking about.
oh yeah.
Dennis Schroeder.
Ooh.
I don't know who.
Dude, he turned down $84 million.
For
know.
5. Who gets fired in that camp? Let's start by talking about
We'll never know.
Dennis Schroeder.
We'll never know.
Let's talk about Dennis Schroeder and the clown that he is. Let's start there.
I don't want to.
Did he overplay his hand, Zeke?
See, that's that. What do you say? What do you call that? Nigga mentality. You know how to call it. You know what to say.
I don't want to say. Go ahead. I'm gonna let you finish.
That's the nigga mentality. You know, that's the first thing probably came to your head. Look at this nigga. Look at this nigga. Look at him. I felt like Kevin Hart when he was like, look at him. Look at him. Look at the ball. Look at the ball. $84 million to get paid.
For 4
Five.
years. It was a 4-year
A
deal.
4-year deal, $84 million. He was going to make $21 million a year. You
Guaranteed.
turned that down
Playing with the Lakers.
because you thought you was on this. I guess he thought he was on that level with like Dame and them.
Well, he said he wanted to be a max player. He was looking for a max contract.
He looked-
Not a max. He was looking for $100 million.
That's dang near max. For
There was
his
nothing
level.
he could buy with that extra $16 million he was talking about that he
Probably
couldn't
don't.
buy with that $84 million that he had on the table. It was on the table in front of him, like, here, sign, and it's yours.
And the crazy part about it is the Lakers didn't. After he turned them down, the Lakers offered him nothing.
Yeah, because even when they offered it to him, I was like, oh, okay, you should take that.
Yeah.
Even when he said, I want $100 million, I wasn't mad at it. I wasn't mad at it. And I think when something like this happens, it always goes to me like, it's not personal, but something about your personality makes me stay away from you. And I think Dennis Schroeder, his time in OKC, him coming to being in LA has got him not overcompensating, but being a bit arrogant and being like, hey, I see the market out there. I'm better than these guys. I need $100 million.
But if you look at the market in his group that he should be in, they all got paid around 21, 22, 23, 24
And
at the
who's
most.
Who's he better than?
That's probably true.
Who's he better
And nobody
than?
in that group that got paid that amount, he's better than none of them.
None.
He's not better than none of them, but I'll
None.
say this though. Chris, just real quick, Chris Paul, we was like, I told you, I said Chris Paul wants $100 million. You said Chris Paul should not be getting $100 million. He got $120 million.
But he took he got 120, but he's making less money per year. So Chris Paul, pay attention, children. Chris Paul made a business decision.
Yeah.
He added more years for less money now.
Yeah.
So he signed a 5-year deal to get more money long term.
Yeah, and he
Dennis
should.
Schroeder signed no deal at all.
What I'm saying is before his thought mentality, we won't know his thought mentality, but what I'm saying, it looks like, I think one of the things like the Lakers are like, well,
He is here.
the Lakers looked at the position he was in. They looked at the group that he was in, and it was like, okay, we can offer you 84. He's like, come on, man, add 15 to that. So, it's one of those things, add 16 to that. So I'm looking at this like, I'm not mad at him for wanting $100 million.
Sure.
So I'm gonna ask you this.
Hold on. Go finish. Go ahead.
No, I'm not mad at him for wanting $100 million. I just think he overplayed his hand.
So let me ask you both this. Did he just blow his chances of ever getting paid in the NBA because he had
No.
to settle? He had to settle for $5.9 million from a rebuilding Boston Celtics team, who clearly he's not going to be a starter.
He might.
Over who?
Over who?
Who's their point guard?
Isn't it Jaylen Brown?
It's
No,
not Jaylen
Marcus
Brown.
Smart.
Marcus Smart. Jaylen Brown got traded.
Point guard.
To-
Marcus Smart plays point guard for them.
Oh God, that's even worse. So yeah, he'll be starting by the end of the year.
No, he will not. Are you serious?
Yeah.
Dennis Schroeder.
Marcus Smart is one of the top
Six
two-way
man to come off the bench?
No, two-way players in the league.
He's Draymond Green.
But my thing is,
He's
you gotta.
Draymond Green.
I want you to look at some of the point guards that got paid. Kyle Lowry.
Which we're going into a little later. We're talking about how
I'm
they
just
got
saying,
paid.
got
Go
that
ahead.
paid. He got paid.
He's definitely not better than Kyle Lowry.
He got $28 million
Uh-huh.
for 4 years.
He got $28 million for 4 years.
No, he's
Oh,
paying
per year.
Per year for
Okay,
4
go
years.
ahead. Go ahead.
You got Tim Hardaway Jr. He's making $18 million for 4 years.
Per year.
Per year, $18 million per year. Lonzo Ball's only making $20 million per year. And I know he's not better than Lonzo.
So out of all those players you just mentioned,
Is it more though?
Kyle, it's more, but it's gonna kind of hijack our later segment about
ahead.
players that got paid. So at the end of the day, if I'm Dennis Schroeder, I am firing my agent because his agent shouldn't have let this happen. His
Is it
agent,
his agent or is it him?
Well, his agents have to be a part of your brain. They
do.
have to shop you around. Listen, Rich Paul got Bledsoe paid. Every Rich Paul player.
Rich Paul.
Hold up, let me finish.
Hold on,
Has
one more
gotten-
Every
question, though.
Rich Paul player has gotten paid, and many of his players. Let's take away the LeBron and the AD and Draymond. Many of Rich Paul's players did not deserve the contracts they got. Let's be honest.
That's true.
Let's be honest. Clutch Sports has Rich Paul rooting for them. Do y'all remember when Eric Bledsoe was beefing with the Suns about his contract?
Yeah.
LeBron tweeted and said, y'all better pay that man before y'all lose that man. Schroeder's agent was a no-namer until the $84 million deal fell out. So I say again, what the heck was his agent thinking?
But hold on. At the end of the day, I just want to ask y'all: do you think he's better than Mike Conley?
Schroeder?
Not
better,
not
but he
better,
might
but he's
younger.
He's younger,
You know?
and that matters in this NBA.
So Mike Conley is making $1 million more than what his contract was.
Mm-hmm.
So he's making 22, and Dennis Schroeder would have been making 21.
21.
That's what
21.
I'm saying. Like when you
How stupid can you be? Like, you got to think about
overplayed
the
his
market.
hand.
He overplayed his hand, but also, like he said,
So go ahead, finish your thought, bro. I'm just giving you the names of the players that Rich Paul
But-
got paid.
everybody in the
Everybody
NBA.
got paid by Rich Paul.
Everybody in the NBA. But what I'm saying
but my
is,
thing is, though, like, who is his agent? You said, who is his agent?
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to worry about who his agent is, because at the end of the day, the agent worked for who?
The
Yes,
player.
The player.
So at the end of the day, who
That's what I
turned
was
down the
saying.
deal?
The player. That's
The
what I'm
player.
saying.
The player.
Even if your agent is screaming in your ear, take the deal. He like, nah, I don't need all that, man. Do something better.
Rich Paul still got John Wall getting paid millions, and he ain't played a whole season in 4 years.
That's what I'm
And
saying.
he's
So
still-
my thing is that here's my thing. Dennis Schroeder, when he was in OKC, I don't want to say on top of the world, but he was buckets. That's what made LA pick him up. Young guy who can either play off the bench or he can start. That's what made them pick him up. So for him saying, hey, I'm in this field of, like you said before, the $20-25 million per year kind of guy. And that's what he was looking for, $25 million per. And we've seen stranger. We have seen crazier.
Oh,
So I'm not mad at him for reaching for the star. He just overplayed his hand. I didn't think it would be this significant where you went from 84 to 5.9.
And keep in mind,
And in Boston, I'll say this, even in Boston, he could turn the tide to be, in 2 years, a $100 million point guard. He just got to work for it now.
I don't know that he'll ever get $100 million again because now everybody know you're going to take less. Remember, Boston came in, bro, all of free agency, and y'all know we were in our group chat. We sending stuff back and forth.
I'm gonna ask
Every
you.
tweet was about everybody but Schroeder. Nobody considered this man.
Let me ask you this question though, but I think that's more about his locker room presence. But what would you take? Would you want him on your team?
I don't see what's so great about him.
About who?
Really?
Schroeder,
I think
He's really not that good.
he's a role
And
player.
he's a-
coming off the bench.
he's a bench. But I'm saying we, as Bucks fans, 2 out of 3 of us. I'll let y'all figure that out.
Hey, Keith, where are you going to be on October 19th?
Oh, Pfizer Forum
Oh, yeah, for the
season opener,
yeah, because we're what?
season ticket holders.
And we're fans.
Kesey, does you being a season ticket holder make you a fan,
No.
or does that make you?
Keith, where we going to be on
I mean, it helps your case.
First of all,
Keith, where we gonna
Kesey,
be on
Kesey,
Christmas?
don't
But-
let this
but
man.
at the
He
same-
already hustled
Where we
you.
gonna be on
He already hustled you with the ticket. Don't let this man take you down this road.
Keith,
He
where we gonna
hustled
be on
you.
Christmas?
I could be at both these places. I don't need to be a season ticket holder. Be at both these places. You like they stop me at
Season
the
ticket holder to be a fan.
No, I don't.
Real fans are season ticket holders.
No, they not. There's
clearly.
a lot of fans who are not season
And they
ticket
all
holders.
just joined 2 weeks before the championship.
Shoot. We still ain't solved the mystery of why Andre pushing for this so hard.
So-
Sign them season tickets, y'all.
So
Sign up.
so
Holla at me.
Dennis Schroeder blew
So-
it. We all agree.
Let me
Go
ask
ahead.
you a question.
Yes.
Would you want Dennis Schroeder on your team? That's a yes or no question.
No.
Kesey, would you
No.
want him on your team?
Dennis Schroeder. I'm not looking for a Dennis Schroeder.
So no. I
mean,
would not
if-
mind
if-
Dennis
if-
Schroeder on my team.
I wouldn't-
Am I leaning on Dennis Schroeder? Because that's what happened with the Lakers. They were leaning on Dennis Schroeder. So no, I'm not leaning on him, but he's a nice piece to a team.
But the way he came in is if
Man,
Yeah, that fly, won't you, dog? Did you hurt his family or something?
Either that or he smelled like a bag of. I mean, yeah.
hate
I don't
niggas.
want no.
I hate him. I hate him.
I don't want no Schroeder on my team. I'm not looking for a Schroeder, to be honest with you.
What do you mean a Schroeder though?
I'm saying to be my starting point guard.
I'm not saying.
Coming
I'm just
off-
saying on your team.
He's not worth $84 million. When the Lakers offer him the $84 million, I'm like, whoa, that's too much.
Yeah,
He's more like
yeah,
$60 million 4 years.
yeah.
That's what I would offer him.
15-ish, 15
Yeah,
million a
15
year.
-ish.
And that's generous coming from a team who we knew was going to make significant changes in the offseason. Kids, we call that a segue. The Los Angeles Lakers completed a trade that landed them Russell Westbrook. Okay?
The Brody.
Russell?
Hold up.
The Brody.
Russell. Shut
The
up.
Brody.
Do we like the move? What does it mean for the Lakers? In addition to adding Russie, the Lakers just did a complete roster overhaul.
Can I say something real quick?
Yes.
Because I just want to get this out here before Kesey goes on a LeBron James LA Lakers rant.
Hey, so check your Apple Watch, bro.
What?
Check your watch. Go ahead. I said Tone. Go ahead.
Oh. So I was going to say this before Kesey goes on his Lakers rant and how good this trade was. It sucked. I'm going to tell you why it sucked.
It sucked for all the
Russell
LeBron
Wa-
haters.
Woo! I'm not
Russell-
gonna lie, I'm not a big fan of it either.
Russell Westbrook is a good player, great player. I don't even want to say a stat stuffer. He's a great player. He's a leader. He gets other guys involved. And with that being said, the Lakers could use that.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to say it's an age thing.
Mm-hmm.
Russell is just not that guy he used to be.
Mm-hmm.
And when he was in Washington, even though it happened towards the end of the season, you could see he still's not that guy where he can put these triple doubles up, but that doesn't make it him the guy.
Right.
Excuse me. So it's one of those things where like him, LeBron, and AD to me it's not a winning combination because Russell Westbrook is not a shooter, nor is he a distributor
And then, let me say something for
distributor to the level that LeBron needs.
Let him
Hold on,
finish.
no,
You
no,
go
will
ahead.
get your
you.
chance.
Before he goes any further,
Go ahead.
the Milwaukee Bucks won the championship, and they shot the worst three-point percentage in the whole league in the playoffs.
Why you gonna make me say this, Kesey? Don't make me say
Say
this.
it. They
Don't-
didn't play Kevin Durant. They didn't play LeBron. They didn't play Steph Curry. I appreciate the Bucks championship.
What you
Well-
mean they did play KD?
And we're talking about the finals. Okay, they played KD and Harden 2.0, not Harden. James
I
Harden.
wouldn't even say that. I'll play.
You guys are something else. You know that? You
No, we're just-
you mother suckers are something else. You come, yo, black muck.
First of all, I didn't say it.
Let me
First of all, I
stop.
didn't say it. I didn't say
No,
it.
but seriously. Seriously,
Dre said
what
it.
I hate the one thing I hate right now about the Bucks winning that championship is all of this. What if this and what if that? Why can't y'all just let them win? Have they win in peace?
No,
No,
what I'm
you're the one that brought up the question. Listen,
what I'm saying is
I didn't bring up no question about.
At the end of the day, I'm sorry, Z.
Well,
ahead.
my whole point was saying what I said was to say that you
That-
don't have to have 3-point shooting to win you a championship.
my question for you is this then. LeBron James, your favorite player, needs a certain kind of player with him.
Okay.
Does Russell Westbrook fit that kind of player that LeBron James needs with him?
So here's the thing.
Hold on. I want Keith to answer that.
Oh,
Does
before
Russell Westbrook fit that? Go ahead.
Before Kesey answers, I'm going to give him all the fire because get ready, America. He's going to talk for like 5 minutes straight. So if Westbrook doesn't get it done this year, he'll never get it done. Okay? If Russell cannot win a championship this year, not only did the Lakers ruin their future for a guy who's only, a year left of his contract, maybe 2, he'll never win one. If you can't get it done with LeBron, first of all, he didn't get it done with KD, and he should have. He didn't get it done with Harden, and he could have. If you can't get it done with the GOAT, LeBron, in year 18 of his career, who is on the verge, who will likely pass Karl Malone for the second leading scorer in NBA history this season and potentially be the number 1 leading scorer, that's going to be a little harder, but he's about 3,000 points away. If you can't get it done with King James, and so Kesey can go on his rant, Carmelo Anthony, Trevor Ariza, Kent Bazemore, Devontae Kakuk, Anthony Davis, right? I think he's a rookie. Wayne Ellington, Mark Gasol, Horton Tucker, Dwight Howard, King James, Wes Matthews, Malik Monk.
Wes Matthews not on the team no more, is he?
It looks like he got traded. I'm just going over the roster that's here now. He's still on the active roster. Kendrick Nunn. If you can't get it done with all those players, because everybody's acting like LA's a super team, I don't think so. Another story for another day. We need something to kick off the season, so we won't talk about that. But if Russie can't, I don't like the trade because I don't think Russ plays number 2 well. Kesey, defend your Lakers in this god-awful move.
He doesn't play number 2 what?
He does not play second fiddle well. Russell Westbrook does not. And not only are you not second fiddle, you're probably third fiddle. And if the Lakers are goofy enough to put Carmelo in the starting lineup, you're fourth fiddle.
Carmelo's not going to start.
We don't know.
Okay.
We don't know what he's
First
thinking.
off,
Go ahead.
Carmelo has learned his role of not being the 1, 2, 3 fiddle. Because, listen to this.
Go ahead.
In Portland, was he your first fiddle?
Oh.
No.
Was he the second fiddle?
He was coming off the bench.
He wasn't even the third fiddle in Portland. And he played and had a pretty good season, right?
I like Carmelo with Portland. I even like him with LA.
The Brody is in a different – my thing is they didn't bring him in trying to play first fiddle, second fiddle, whatever y'all want to put it. They brought him in to push the tempo when LeBron James is taking breaks.
You're right.
Or his load management. This is how you got to look at it. When LeBron James is sitting down, you got Westbrook pushing 100 miles an hour. Mm-hmm. That's what they wanted from Dennis Schroeder. Remember, don't forget, that's what they were looking from him.
Are the Lakers too slow for that, though?
How are they going to be too slow for that?
I'm asking. Are they too slow for the tempo that Brody plays?
But that's why they brought in Nunn, Malik Monk, those younger players to fill in that role. Tyler Horton Tucker. You know what I mean? Those are the players that are going to gel with Russell the best. Russell is in the lineup with LeBron and them because he's a superstar. And they can still get it done with him in the lineup. But what Russell's main goal is with the Lakers probably is to push the tempo when AD and LeBron have to do their load management minutes.
So my question for you is this then. I agree with you. That probably is why they picked him up. But let's just say, for instance, Anthony Davis is pretty injury prone. I think we're all clear on that. So let's say the same thing happens that happened last year happens this year. LeBron gets hurt late. AD is in and out. Are you honestly confident in Russell Westbrook leading his team? Because that's another reason they got him. Because they were like, he can lead this team. Like I said, and that goes back to what Dre was saying as far as Russell Westbrook playing second fiddle or playing first fiddle. Like he's had these opportunities with these other superstars and it hasn't worked out. Now with James Harden, I don't blame him. Nobody can play with James Harden unless James Harden literally respects you. That's why he works in Brooklyn, because he respects KD, he respects Kyrie. Russell Westbrook is, and I hate to put that stat stuffer, but like Stephen A. said last year, we don't care anymore. Like, I don't care anymore that you can get a triple-double with ease. What I care about is, what are you going to do when it's all on you? And the times that it's all on him, he hasn't produced. That's why I say this is a bad move for the Lakers, because the Lakers should have been, like they did the first time, surrounding LeBron James and AD with young talent. Now, even though that young talent may not take you to the promised land, and a lot of your a lot of the championship or bust mentality lies on King James' shoulder. It's one of those things where like, well, we'll bring this third star in just in case these two guys go down. I don't see Russ. My fault. I hate to interrupt you. I don't see Westbrook taking that team of all those guys you just said and like, all right, let's make it to the finals at least. Because also all you really got to do is make it to the finals.
Okay.
And the West is still stacked.
Let me ask you this. And healthy. And healthy.
And young. And young.
Okay. Phoenix, they not just about to go away. Klay Thompson might be back by Christmas.
Man.
Okay. So can this Lakers team compete for a championship? Kesey, yes or no?
Yes. I think
Fully healthy?
Fully healthy.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think if the Lakers go into the playoffs healthy, they win the West.
Whose stats suffers the most? Because again, LeBron does it with class, but LeBron is a stat stuffer too. You think hold up. You don't think he knows that he is right on the edge of passing Malone and Kareem?
Look at this
as
guy.
the all-time leading scorer? You said what?
Listen to this guy.
You don't think he knows?
Yeah, he probably knows, but at the same time,
I don't think he cares.
LeBron James' numbers are going to come regardless.
So the question
All
is,
he got to do is be on the floor. That's his IQ. His IQ is going to make him good.
So the question is, who is taking the back seat? Whose stats will be affected the most? Russell, AD, or Bronny? Russell.
Why y'all always worried about whose stats going to be?
He asked the
have
question.
to.
Why?
He asked
You
the
have
question.
to.
For what? Y'all ain't saying that about KD, Harden,
Yes, we
and
did.
Irvin?
You better go back to that free agency special when James Harden got traded. Yes, we did. Oh, yes, we did. We talked that
yeah,
whole
we did
game,
talk about that,
and we
but-
all said Kyrie.
Yeah, we did.
We all said Kyrie's was going to take it.
And we was wrong.
And we were wrong because
We were
Kyrie
wrong.
got hurt.
And plus Kyrie gonna get his.
Yeah, Kyrie came in and said, "Oh, you had 40 last night.
All right.
I'm getting 40 tonight, and I ain't passing the ball." Go ahead.
I think about the whole stat thing. I don't think it's necessarily a stat thing. I think it's one of those things where like who has to because every big three, some guy has to kind of like. And like you said, like you just said, Kesey, it's not gonna be LeBron. He's still the king. AD's the young guy, so it has to be Westbrook. Now, do I think he's gonna get his triple double? Obviously, but I don't think it's gonna.
Would it be crazy for you to see him and LeBron James both average triple doubles throughout the season?
Would never happen.
No.
It'll never happen.
Why you say never?
It'll
Maybe.
never happen.
Why you say never?
It'll never
Why
happen.
would you say never?
So that means LeBron has to pass the ball, and it works at least 10 times.
That can happen.
Russie has to pass the ball, and it has to work 10 times. So that's 20. That means 20 assists from two players that have to make it, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Getting 10 points is easy. Is Russie going to box out AD? Because remember, AD now can finally play power forward. He can finally play power forward. And they can start Dwight Howard, who does not need to be old Dwight, but Dwight is still good for a short trip double-double. He's still good. Dwight can still get you 15 and 15.
I want to say 15 and 15. He get you 10 and 10.
15
Dwight-
and 15. I'm
D-
going to punch
oh.
you in the eye for saying
He
that.
said-
The white 15 and 15 days are way over.
Dwight can still get you a double-double.
He get you 10 and 10.
He can get you a double-double, and
get you
Dwight
12
can
and
bring – Dwight still controls the paint this late in his career. There are not a lot of players that
Control.
can bang with Dwight even in this late of his career.
I don't know, 'cause
Control.
Dwight always trying to fight now. Every time I look at Dwight, and he
Dwight
down
is
there
not-
in the paint.
Dwight
he's trying
is
to
a
fight.
bully now.
He
Dwight
trying-
is a bully.
Every time I look at him, he be like, push me again and see what happens.
Well, first of all, we know why Dwight's fighting. Because everybody think he's a little soft and a little But what I'm saying is
He got to protect his reputation.
that too. Ask Shaq about Dwight Howard. So that'll let you know what he can do. You're right. Them days of him getting 15 and 15 is over. 10 and 10, light 10 and 10. So his job now is to be a bully.
Yeah.
That's his
That's
job
it. Yeah,
But
is.
he can protect the paint.
I
So
wouldn't
is
say-
Russie going to box out Dwight in the paint? Is he going to box
It
out
doesn't
Gasol in the paint?
My thing is,
Gasol is a non-factor. Let's stop talking
They-
about Gasol.
Gasol is
A lot
out
of
there.
these guys
Gasol
are
is
not
not going to be there.
A lot of these guys are non-factors. We got 4 guys. 1 guy on the bench, 3 three in the starting lineup. You know who the three are in the starting lineup? You got James, Westbrook, Davis. On the bench, we got Carmelo.
And you're probably going to get Dwight's probably going to start.
I'm pretty
Dwight's
sure.
right gonna
I'm pretty
start.
sure Trevor Ariza probably starts.
Trevor Ariza, another old guy. I ain't gonna say old guy. I don't want to say old guy. He's a veteran who isn't how he used to be.
Okay.
Now I ain't gonna say he a bully, but he is another guy who don't mind fouling you hard. So like the Lakers are putting in the pieces, and the question here is
Dwight's
what about
like Dwight's like a 8 and 10.
So that's what I'm saying. You doing some 15?
He's like,
He's like a 10 and 10.
He said 15 to 15.
He's like
I'm saying
And he
so.
said it confidently too.
well,
I'm like, what?
he had 19 and 14 against the Pistons. You know.
So
That's it.
the
Yeah,
Pistons.
wait a minute.
It's the Pistons.
Wait a minute. The month of April, he was putting up some numbers, but as you were, Z.
So my thing, what our question, and why we're questioning this so much is because besides the All-Star game, these guys don't gel well.
How do you know that?
We don't. We're going.
You haven't seen it to say that they don't gel yet.
You're right. I agree with you.
So
But we're
so
going
lead the
off
spec-
what-
so
we're going
lead
off
the
what past
speculations.
actions.
Lead the speculations outside. Just step in the arena and get ready for a show.
Are you a Lakers
Huh.
fan or a Bucks fan?
Cause it's the Lake Show this year.
Let me ask you this question, then. As much as I'm predicting that it's not gonna work, you're predicting it's gonna work.
I'm a LeBron James fan. You already know that. So
How are you gonna
be whatever you
Wait,
doing?
wait. I'm just saying. I'm
I
just reporting. I'm just recording.
Everybody know I'm a LeBron James fan. I'm not a Laker fan. I'm a LeBron James fan.
Okay. So is it gonna work?
It's gonna work. Anything can
How's-
work with LeBron. LeBron is the king, man.
All right, you can get out of here now.
What's wrong with y'all?
So you like the pickup, obviously.
Obviously,
I like the Brody pickup, and it gives the Brody a chance to.
calling it Brody.
The Brody gets a chance to, put a silence to all of the negativity that.
To be honest with you,
that keeps getting surrounded around him as like he's a bad this and a bad that, and I hate that the sports commentators criticize him so much for not winning when it's not all on him.
who?
When they didn't win with the teams he was with.
It's not all on.
You know
him.
what I mean? Like,
That's
yeah,
right.
but it's of course it's not all on him. But when you listen to the
You-
commentators,
see, you didn't say that, though.
But when you listen to the commentators, they gave KD a pass, they gave Harden a pass, they gave
A lot of these guys don't get passes. James Harden is a guy who doesn't get a pass.
None.
him a pass.
No, they
When?
did not.
When
gave him-
when they were all in OKC,
He was a sixth man. He
Okay.
should have got a pass.
Yeah.
why should he have got a
He
pass?
was a
He's a
sixth
sixth
man.
man.
He left and went and got a max contract.
He
Yeah.
left because they wouldn't pay him.
His pass.
They
it
paid
did-
Ibaka,
Oh.
KD, and Westbrook.
So who fault is it that they didn't win? That they decided to go with Ibaka rather than James Harden?
Because they couldn't.
Who fault
pay
is that?
It's obviously the front office fault. But what I'm saying is this:
And
James
that-
Harden stopped getting passes when he went to Houston and established himself as a dominant superstar in this league.
And that OKC team with Harden and Durant when they made it to the finals,
Yeah,
who do you blame for that?
KD.
KD.
They blame Russie. Russie,
they
KD
did.
can't play with Russie.
They did.
I can see that.
Russie ruined that. No, that was KD. Because when you as elite like KD, you get the ball. You make sure you get the ball.
This is gonna go into another segment.
Like he did-
But
like
KD is not a alpha. He's not an alpha nigga. So he's soft. He's soft. And when you got somebody who has the attitude like Russell, who don't play that shit, who's coming there saying, "Hey nigga, I got this," fall back, and KD like, pass me
he
the ball.
wasn't. That wasn't.
He's
What,
slowly.
that's not what happened. That's what people assumed happened.
What you mean that's happened in every situation with
No.
Westbrook?
KD
That's
said-
not what happened.
KD said on the chip that going to Golden State turned him into a bad guy because he was the guy that sit back and took his role. He was the guy that was happy-go-lucky. So to Zeke's point, he's exactly right. KD a lot of times took a back seat. to Russie.
Because that was his personal preference. I'm gonna sit back and relax.
Well,
And let-
LeBron does it too.
So if you LeBron don't do it
Anymore.
LeBron don't do it
I'm
to
gonna
the
drop
point.
this mic on your head.
LeBron doesn't do it to the extent that KD does it. LeBron won't do it to the extent you will let your team fail instead of speaking your mind and stepping up and saying something in these team meetings in these timeouts. So when you talk about they blame KD or they blame Russell, yes, Russell is a guy who has a reputation of not playing second fiddle, and that's
It's
what.
not.
That's,
It's not about him playing second
so what is it
fiddle.
about then?
Russie is the type of player that is 100 miles an hour. You know that's the type of player he is.
That's on the
So
court.
you as
Well, we talking about personalities.
But you being KD, it's your job to be like, you know what? You didn't win 100 miles an hour all game and kept us in the game, right? Coach, put the ball in my hands. Let me be the closer. That's what you do, right? That's what leaders do. They step up and they take over the role. You don't sit back and be like, let's see if he's going to keep on shooting. Let's see if he's going to keep on doing this. Let's see.
Well, that's coaching.
If I'm on a team with you and you want to sit back, guess what I'm going to do?
Keep on shooting.
I'm going to keep on shooting.
But that's coaching, though. That's not necessarily
That-
the responsibility.
As a leader, you think Kobe would have if that was Kobe in that role with Russie?
Mike wouldn't let it happen.
Exactly. Mike wouldn't let it happen.
In fact, we saw Mike tell Scottie Pippen on the bench, pass me the ball, I'm feeling it. And Pippen's like, well, Mike, I'm feeling it too. Know your role. And so KD should have established his role with Westbrook. I believe, this is what I'm going to say, although I don't like the trade, I do believe Westbrook, we will see a totally different version of him playing alongside LeBron because LeBron is a champion.
You cannot change your human nature.
I think you can win the title, and you're knocking on the door
the
of
only person. Hold on, I hate to interrupt you, but I just want to say this real quick. We have seen numerous of players who cannot change their human nature. Carmelo Anthony is one of those guys who cannot change his human nature. And for a minute, wasn't nobody messing with Carmelo Anthony because he couldn't change his. He couldn't change it. Yeah. Give me the ball, watch me do my thing, and then I'll lackluster on the defensive end. That worked until we was like, you know what, we're not working with that no more. And then Portland was like, hey, why don't you play with us for a little bit? We'll just see how this works out. And it worked out for the last 2-3 years.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, like, you talk about what best case scenario, you're right. Russell Westbrook, like, you know what? I need to change the way I play. I need to change the way I do things because this is a championship team. And if we all can kind of like just know our roles here, we can win a championship. Not 1, not 2, not 3, but whatever the case may be.
it ain't gonna be.
That's why so many people are doubting this because it's hard to change your human nature.
Yeah.
And
So
so
I got a question then.
Go ahead.
So then do you blame Paul George
For what?
when he played with Russie? Or is it Russie's fault?
I don't
Because
think
Russie actually took a back seat to Paul George. Paul George was the one tricking, I ain't going to say the word, tricking
his ass off.
yeah.
So my thing about that, my thing about that is Paul George is not a
Leader. He's not.
besides not being a leader, he's not on that superstar level, and you know he's not.
Anymore.
He was on his way,
Anymore.
and something happened.
Is Russie still a superstar?
Yes,
This last season wasn't great for him.
yes, he's
What
still a
wasn't
superstar.
great about it?
I mean, his numbers declined.
Look at the numbers.
They
and he's
started.
playing against one of the number 1 scorers in the league.
So, welcome
And-
to LA, Russie. We hope as well. I can't wait to see that game in Milwaukee.
I can't either. I can't wait to shut up all the haters.
The Miami
Let's go,
Heat-
Brody.
The Miami Heat were active in free agents.
This is who you getting season tickets with?
Oh, it's like 5 of us, like 6 of us.
Oh, okay. Oh,
5 or 6 of us.
You were on the line. Shut up.
wow.
You know.
So
you
this,
were there.
hold on. So this is why he was asking for season tickets.
I can show you the payments that I'm still making every month. Okay. 'Cause
I don't
it's
need to know all that, man. I ain't need all of your
Right.
business. But what I'm saying is,
Why is it?
You gotta call them before you get double charged next month.
Okay, I got the money in
You
there.
got it? Hey! Big business. Spending the G.
Let me stop.
Miami Heat were active in free agency. They were active in free agency signing major talent. What does that mean for the Miami Heat? Do we like the moves? Is this a team that can compete for a championship? So let's look at the Miami Heat roster. You have Bam Adebayo.
yeah, I know.
You
Not a
have Jimmy
superstar.
Butler. You have Dwayne Dedman. Udonis Haslem. He won't go away. Tyler Hero.
Who won't go away?
Udonis Haslem.
Udonis Haslem is a real veteran.
I like
He
that.
just
They're afraid. I bet they're afraid.
Udonis is crazy though.
Hey, let me tell you
Wait,
something.
hold up.
That'd be one brother I wouldn't
Talking about
try.
real quick.
Because I already know what type
real
of problems
quick.
he's looking
Hey,
for.
Dre might be right.
They might
They
be
scared.
scared.
They scared to let this nigga go. You know what? Hey,
You think
when I signed my contract,
you think Pat and the Mafia look to get up? You done?
shit, I would.
They had dude down there in the
Kyle Lowry, chill out. Tyler Hero,
Let me stop.
Markeith Morris, Victor Oladipo, Duncan Robinson got more than Schroeder. PJ Tucker, which is a loss for the Bucks, which we'll talk about next, and a couple other guys. What do we like about the Miami Heat? Do we like Kyle Lowry?
They'll be fun to watch.
I think so, but Miami Heat's gonna struggle, man. They're small.
They're
small.
I didn't even think about that, but
They're
they are small.
Their biggest
let
player
go.
is Bam Adebayo,
They let go their secret weapon,
which
And-
was
drag.
Gordon Drag. I don't think it was their secret weapon, but
He always gave the Bucks problem. He always used to give people problems, and I think I want to say one of the last great Euro players, but he is a guy who can get you some like 15, 16 off the bench, and for them to let him go for whatever reason, just to add these new guys, like you said before, I didn't even think about that. They're small, and I think Miami is just be an exciting team to watch play, but I don't see them doing much damage in the season to the point where we're talking about them 3-4 months from now like this is the team to beat.
yeah, I don't think they're the team to beat because the Eastern Conference, as we all know, is stacked. I mean, it is stacked. But I think Miami was very active in free agency. I am glad that Kyle Lowry got freed from Canada. He hated Toronto. I can't wait for his chip on the shoulder segment because he has a lot to obviously say about his time in Toronto. I think he won a championship, of course. KD injured, but he still won it. And I think them trading his boy away always left a bad taste in his mouth.
You think so?
I think so. And so, good pickup for Miami. I like the signing. Keys, what do you think about the moves that the Miami Heat made?
I think Miami is in the same boat they was when they sent all these players out.
So they can't compete for a championship.
They won't be in the championship because you got to think they let go of Nunn. Nunn had a pretty good season last year. He was supposed to get paid.
He just didn't get
He
time.
he was so disappointed in the way Miami handled him. He took less money to go to LA.
Yeah, he didn't. I think if they didn't give him enough time to really like blossom into the player he could be. I'll be interested to see what happens with him in LA, because I think the same situation is going to happen where he doesn't get a lot of time. Miami should have gotten rid of Tyler
Hero. They
should've-
don't like his off
That's what I'm
the
saying.
court stuff. They're
If-
still suiting. They're still shopping.
That's what I'm saying. Like they should get rid of him as soon as possible because I think he's just going to be more of a problem. I don't see him bouncing back like.
What is he doing off the court that's so bad?
He's a celebrity, and the NBA doesn't like celebrities.
It's not that they don't like celebrities, but if you was going to be a celebrity, you better be a player on the court. Like if you better be averaging. Like LeBron James could be a celebrity because he's doing what he's supposed to do on the court. And if you a celebrity dating Instagram models and doing all this popping bottles and being at people concerts and stuff like that, you better be producing on the court.
He's living his best life, and Miami don't like
Pretty
it.
much.
He's living like Jimmy Butler. The difference is Jimmy makes more and he's more quiet about it.
Yeah.
Speaking of Jimmy Butler, Rachel Nichols is out at ESPN.
She is.
And her show got canceled.
Her show got. She's still ESPN. Her show just got. Her show just got canceled.
No, she's out.
What do you mean she's out?
They let her go. They parted ways.
Really?
Yeah,
Yes.
it was a mutual agreement to
Yeah,
part
they
ways.
parted ways.
I'm
But
sure it was mutual.
Anyway, the Miami Heat,
They'll just be an exciting team to watch.
Thank you.
they'll be an exciting team to watch.
Oh, yeah.
Will they compete for a championship?
Miami will be a first rounder, second rounder, but they're not a championship caliber.
Top 3 in the Eastern Conference?
Top 5.
Top 6.
Okay.
Really?
All right. Our Milwaukee Bucks.
The East are strapped. No.
They are. The Milwaukee Bucks lost PJ Tucker, Forbes, and a few others. We re-signed Bobby Portis for a discount.
I don't think so.
Added Grayson Allen, which I hate him.
I'll take him.
I'll take him, but I hate him
Why?
because of how he was in college, man. I just didn't like the way he was in college.
How was he?
He was kind of a jerk.
You knew him?
I knew him for back.
He's the worst.
Let me stop.
Hey, you know what? That was from another episode called Sensitivity and Legacy, where we were talking about take the bait.
He put it out there every time.
And so I mean, how do we like this new Bucks roster? And think objectively here, my brothers. Do we think this new Bucks roster can
I'm
run
gonna let you go first.
No,
Cause
you don't.
I like to see you dig
I
a
think
hole.
I'll go. I think
Go ahead.
Grayson is a step up from Forbes
Yeah,
because he's a little bit bigger,
I like
and
Grayson.
I think he shoots a little bit better than Forbes to me.
and he plays the defensive end.
Yeah,
better.
he plays the
He's
defensive end.
he's six. He's about 6'4". He about 6'4", 6'3".
Yep.
He can play both. He can play point and he can play shooting.
What I like about him is he's not afraid to take the technical foul.
He's not afraid.
That's what I like.
And like we talked about, like PJ said at the parade, like we got some dogs, and I think Grayson Allen is going to be one of those dogs. Now, that'll get him. The question is, what kind of dog you going to be? You going to be the dog that can contribute, or you just going to be a dog which is a distraction, like a Patrick Beverly? Either you're going to be a distraction or you're going to be a contributor, and that's going to be the big question. If he can contribute like I know he can, then we got ourselves a great pickup. If he's a distraction, like I also know he can be, then he won't be playing and then he'll just be there. I mean, in Memphis, let's be honest, he was partially more of a distraction than he was a contributor. As far as the Bucks go, I always find it funny because we don't make the big roster moves. We make the necessity moves. Yeah, the necessary moves. So for us to pick up Grayson Allen, and to lose PJ and we lost PJ and we lost Forbes. So the PJ thing is just one of those things where
But we knew that.
I didn't think PJ. I thought we would lose Bobby
Question, though, for you guys.
and pick up PJ.
When you look at Thanasis Antetokounmpo and PJ Tucker, what separates them?
One is Giannis's brother and one is not.
Okay.
I'm just saying. What has
Okay.
what has
No,
the other
I won't say that. I
Antetokounmpo-
won't.
I just want to know.
What has he done?
PJ
Other
Tucker,
than be Giannis's brother on our team.
he's the hype man.
I'm talking
No,
about.
I'm serious. So
I'm
seriously,
talking about in gameplay.
I
gameplay, he
haven't
brings
seen him
energy.
try.
He does two things. He brings energy and he takes up fouls. PJ Tucker is a defensive player. You have to put now. Is he a defensive stopper? No, because KD gonna get his.
So you don't think?
But
you don't
he's a
think
defensive
Thanasis
guy.
will do what PJ Tucker did?
No,
No.
no,
Why?
because
Not
because
big enough, first of all.
I'll say
They're the
this.
same size.
I'll say this.
No, I'm
They about the
talking
same size.
muscular, not height. Just talking about PJ carries the bully persona.
And he's a
Giannis
def-
always smiling.
That's what I'm saying. Like, so
Hey, I'm holding
PJ
you.
Tucker.
I'm smiling.
So you saying he the coming in America type of player?
Wow. What I'm saying is
He's
this.
so racist, though.
That ain't racist.
A
Classes, whatever you wanted to call it.
little bigotry. A little bigotry. So what I'm saying is this though.
Oh,
So
man.
PJ Tucker is a defensive player. He's a defensive veteran. So he knows the tricks to kind of get in people's head.
You know what's hard about
KD's
that?
gonna have 30 against PJ Tucker. He's gonna have 40 against Giannis' brother. He's
You know, the sad
gonna have
part
40.
about it, though, the rumor mill is saying that the Bucks didn't offer Tucker anything. He went to Miami for the same money that he was making in Milwaukee. He was making $7.5 million in Milwaukee. He's making $8.5 with Miami.
Yeah.
It almost feels like we rented him. And the Bucks, I don't know if y'all remember, the Bucks gave up a lot to get Tucker here.
Let me ask you this question though.
Go ahead.
Like, because I think Kesey was getting to this. Is there gonna be? I guess will we miss him?
That's what I was trying to get to. Like,
Will we miss him?
will we miss PJ Tucker? And was PJ Tucker something that really made a difference?
When we
in our
first
team?
first got him, I knew he wasn't gonna be here next year.
No PJ Tucker, no championship.
PJ Tucker has worked hard a long time. I'm gonna be honest.
No PJ
He's
Tucker,
been
no championship.
underpaid and underworked for
False.
overworked for a long time.
You already just said
False.
You
false.
said what?
No PJ Tucker, no championship.
Why?
False.
The defensive presence he brought to the game.
False.
As far as who?
Who could have filled his role on our roster from last season?
From
Who-
last season,
From the season that just won the title, who could have filled PJ's role? Who could have filled it? Who could have took the charges? He got poster.
I'll say this. I'll say this. PJ Tucker was starting because that white boy got hurt.
DiVincenzo?
Yes. That's why he was starting. I don't know. Come on, man.
Okay, so do we think the Bucks? can
Like I
still-
said before, he averaged 30 against PJ. Anybody else he'd average 40 against.
So can this Bucks team run it
Why?
back?
But how?
Yes.
Did you? I should have sent you the clip. I forgot to send y'all the clip.
That's all good.
Well,
They had a whole KD highlight film of how he was treating PJ Tucker.
Oh, I bet.
PJ Tucker was poking him in the nose, the eye, and everything, and he still was splashing him.
Oh, he
PJ
destroyed him. He
PJ couldn't do
destroyed him.
nothing.
that's what I'm saying. Like,
destroyed him.
he's Patrick Beverly. He's a taller, stronger Patrick Beverly. Patrick Beverly is still going to get balled on, but he's going to be in your face the whole time.
I'm so glad Patrick Beverly got traded. Oh, he runs
No,
his mouth way too much.
they'll regret that.
Well, they're gonna waive him eventually. They'll waive him. He's gonna
Memphis?
They'll waive him like they did.
He
Rondo.
won't request it.
He don't have to
Rondo
request it.
requested that.
You don't have to request it. They can still waive you.
They won't waive him.
So
We got Rodney Hood.
the Bucks.
I like that.
Zeke believes the
Rodney
Bucks,
Hood got something to prove.
We picked up George Hill,
George Hill's a defensive player.
and he's a shooter.
Yep.
He's a shooter that I thought we missed when we traded him.
I like the Hill pickup just because
Go
of
ahead, run through the Bucks
of
roster.
of
Who I
leadership.
Who I think was a sleeper of a pickup for the Bucks was Simi Ojali.
I don't like him.
Why? Have you watched him play?
I have
He's
watched
okay.
him play.
He's okay.
What is he here for?
Go through the roster real
PJ
quick.
Tucker role.
Go through the
I
roster.
seen that. I didn't like it.
Go
Still,
through the roster. You have it up?
Do I look like Jeffrey? I don't think you should be talking to me like that.
No, you're wrong.
he's your producer. That's who he is. He's your producer. So,
Well, at least I asked him nicely. Yours would have came.
did he ask you
2 minutes
nicely?
before the show.
Hey, did he ask you
2
nicely?
minutes before the show.
Did he ask you
Hey,
nicely?
y'all watch this 50-minute clip. Right.
See, so this is what
Hey,
happens.
you go through the Bucks roster, please.
Everybody knows the Bucks roster.
No, we don't.
The only person we lost was PJ Tucker.
If you don't have it up, just say you don't have it up.
I'm looking right at
Well,
it.
then go through the roster, please.
Okay, the Bucks roster consists of Giannis Antetokounmpo, Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton, Bobby Portis, Brooke Lopez, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Dante DiVincenzo, Pat Connaughton, Jeff Teague,
Jeff Teague is still on our roster.
Still there? He'll be gone after this season. Though.
Jordan. I don't know what his name is. Something.
Everybody else don't matter. Get the additions.
Justin Jackson, Sam Merrill,
Justin?
Grayson Allen,
Oh yeah.
George Hill, Rodney Hood,
Ah,
Rodney Hood, Axel
What? Okay.
Topang,
Okay.
and Simi. I don't know who he is. Never heard of. Never seen him. And everybody else, you probably don't even know who they is.
You don't need to know.
yeah, you don't really need to know.
You need to
so
know.
this Bucks roster,
Yes.
can they run it back? Keith.
If they can pick up some sleepers,
I'm gonna tell you why they can run it back. Because what's going on in Philadelphia.
They just signed Drummond. They got Twin Towers.
So I think they can run it back because of what happened just happened in Philadelphia.
what happened in
What happened
Philadelphia?
to Philly?
Ben Simmons?
Did he just get traded?
No, he didn't get traded. I'm saying is he hasn't talked to nobody from that organization
That's
since the.
because he'll be traded.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. With the drama, with him being traded, is unless they get somebody that's phenomenal,
Go ahead.
they're done.
If Philly,
I don't want to say they're done. They're not going to be as good as they were last year.
if Philly stops acting like Simmons is Jordan or LeBron, he could have been gone. But they
He's-
want too much for him. Even Golden State offered a nice package. They
If
offered Wiggins.
you know why though?
Why? Because they want to be a super team too.
No, because if you fix Ben Simmons shooting, he is the next LeBron. Think about that. 6'8", 220, can run the floor, can pass the ball. Defensive presence there. All he missing is shooting.
That's it.
If you fix him, he is the next LeBron James.
Let me ask you
And
both
then if
this.
you put him with the two maybe greatest shooters in history, oh man, that's a disaster for the league, man.
Let me ask you
If you fix him, though.
Let me ask you both this: as former basketball players in your younger days, do either of you believe that shooting can be something taught that late in his career?
Yes.
Okay,
There were players who came in the league that couldn't shoot a lick.
like
I ain't want to say shoot a lick. I'm just saying he was a very ugly shooter. It was going in, but it was very ugly, and they changed his form and made him a better shooter.
Come on over, Tone. We getting ready to close out.
LeVar Ball. Not LeVar Ball, I'm sorry.
LaMelo Ball?
LaMelo Ball. LaMelo Ball wasn't the best looking shooter. He was a shooter though, but he wasn't the best. It was the best looking jumper. But what I'm saying is you have to want to be a better shooter.
Okay.
So if Ben Simmons wants to be a better shooter, if they can fix him, because they're all about the process there in Philadelphia, he's the next LeBron James. So that's why it's like, if you want him, you got to give us almost everything.
Yeah, and I think they are making a big mistake because either they'll be stuck with him. Well, he's already played Kyrie role where he's not showing up to team meetings.
That's what I'm saying. He's being an ass about it.
Yeah.
So now that it's official that he's being an ass about it, it's one of those things where it's like, you know what? I think it's better if we part ways and get up out of here.
Yeah. A couple just key things. Larry Nance got traded to Portland.
That's
the Lakers are considering signing Rajon Rondo to their final roster spot, him or Isaiah Thomas. Sucks to be Isaiah Thomas because they're probably going to go with Rondo. He knows the offense. He plays great with LeBron. And to have him backing up Brody, that's a nice consolation.
But you got done too, though. The minutes too.
That's true. Philly signed Anthony Tolliver, or they waived him rather. New York's re-signed Julius Randle. New York picked up Jaylen Brown.
Who?
Jaylen Brown from Boston. Remember he got traded, then got waived, and then signed with the Knicks.
Jaylen Brown.
Right? Jaylen Brown?
That's not Jaylen Brown. That's not
You
Jaylen
mean
Brown.
Kemba Walker?
Thank you. I'm sorry. Kemba Walker.
I'm like,
Kemba
Jaylen
Walker
Brown.
went to the Knicks. Don't know how that's going to work out.
It's gonna work out like it's been working out in Boston.
Pat Bev went to Memphis. San Antonio signed Ford from the Bucks. Minnesota actually now has Pat Beverly. Didn't know if y'all knew that. So
Oh, really?
Memphis traded him right
Traded
away.
them like the same day.
Okay.
And there's a lot of other ones there. Terry Rozier re-signed with Charlotte. A lot of player movement this off season. And so it's really going to be a great start of the season. I'm looking forward to the preseason. It actually kicks off in just a little over a month.
About a month.
So the preseason kicks off the week of October 5th, and the NBA season starts on the 19th with the Milwaukee Bucks versus the Brooklyn Nets at the Fiserv Forum. That is the ring ceremony and the banner raising ceremony on the 19th of October.
I'm not a season ticket holder, but I will be there.
I'm excited for you. I'm excited for you.
I hope you can make it.
I hope you can
I'll
make
be
it.
there.
We hope you can make it. And then the next game, I believe, is the Golden State Warriors and the Lakers, or is it the Lakers and the Suns in the second opening night? So there's like a doubleheader.
It's Lakers and Lakers and
It's
Golden
Suns.
State.
I thought it was
Is
Lakers
it?
and the Suns.
I thought it was
So whoever it is, LeBron and KD's in opening night. And Christmas Day games have been announced. A lot of great games happening on Christmas Day. But nevertheless, the Los Angeles Lakers play Golden State, and it's the Nets and the Bucks in the doubleheader on Christmas opening game. So this has been a special, longer edition of the 94 Feet Podcast. We knew it was going to happen. I'd like to thank my brother Zeke.
What up? What up?
My man's Keith.
All right, good peoples.
Yeah. We look forward to kicking off our season 2 on Sunday, October the 17th is when we officially kick off season 2 of the 94 Feet Podcast. Check us out.
Either.
Listen in. You said what?
I said that's a surprise to me.
But that's 2 days before the opening day. Why would it be a surprise to you?
You didn't say nothing.
Shut up, man.
Way to go, producer.
So anyway, shout out to our executive producer, super producer Tone, TDR Net Podcasting Network. Check us out online at 94 Feet Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and listen to us across all podcast platforms. Holla at your boy, 94 Feet Nation.
94 feet, good people.
Peace.